Today, we're going to talk about something most of us are taught to run away from, being alone. But we're going to flip the script and look at how this common fear might just be your most powerful tool for growth. So let me just ask you this right off the bat. What if everything you've ever been told about needing to be surrounded by people is only half the story? What if being alone isn't some kind of weakness, but it's actually the secret to a more powerful and, authentic life? Think about it. From when we're kids, being alone is almost framed as a problem, right? It's seen as loneliness, something you need to fix. And that idea is so strong that most of us just fill every quiet moment with noise, with distractions, anything to avoid just facing ourselves. But that's exactly where we're missing the magic. Okay, so to unlock this power, we have to get one really critical distinction straight. This is not about learning to be lonely. Not at all. It's about understanding the huge difference between loneliness and solitude. They might look the same from the outside, but trust me, on the inside, they are worlds apart. Here's the absolute core of it. Loneliness is something that happens to you. It feels imposed, like something's missing, and it's driven by fear. But solitude? Well, solitude is a choice. It's a feeling of fullness. It's a state you enter on purpose, not because you're running away from others, but because you want to connect with yourself. So let's really lock in this new definition, shall we? Solitude isn't about being lonely. It's a deliberate practice. I want you to think of it like an appointment with the most important person you'll ever know, you. It's the space where real self-discovery and growth can finally happen. And get this isn't just some philosophical, fluffy idea. Choosing to spend time alone is literally like taking your brain to the gym. It is an active training ground for building one of the most valuable skills you could possibly have, self-reliance. What's so fascinating is that this time you spend in chosen solitude, it can actually physically rewire your brain. No joke. It strengthens the pathways tied to self-reflection and, managing your emotions. You learn to depend on your own thoughts and feelings, building this stronger inner compass instead of constantly looking outside for directions. So, how do you even start this training? Well, it boils down to a pretty simple 3-step routine. First, you just have to disconnect from all the noise, the notifications, the opinions, the endless chatter. Step 2, you create the space to actually hear your own inner voice. And then third, from that listening, that's where you start to build real, authentic self-knowledge. And this leads us to one of the most amazing results of practicing solitude. It turns out that it's in the silence that we find the very foundation of all real connection. Just let that sink in for a second. Real communication starts in silence. It's such a powerful idea, right? It suggests that before we can truly speak our truth to anyone else, we have to hear it ourselves first. We spend so much time talking and posting and reacting, but how much of that is just noise? It's in that quiet space that you finally hear yourself. You start to untangle what you actually think from what the world has told you to think. You figure out what you genuinely value, not just the values you've kind of borrowed from other people. And this is the starting point for being real with the world, because you finally know who's actually doing the talking. Now, here comes the biggest twist, the greatest reward of this whole thing. Mastering being alone doesn't actually push people away from you. It does the exact opposite. It gives you this surprising social superpower. And here it is, the big secret. When you are genuinely, truly content in your own company, you become magnetic. It's just a fact. People are naturally drawn to those who have a strong sense of self, who aren't always looking for someone else to complete them or distract them. So why does this work? Well, it's because you start projecting self-assurance instead of neediness. You don't need validation from anyone else. And because of that, your interactions stop being about trying to get something from people to fill a void. Instead, you're just there to genuinely connect, and you bring this powerful calm to your relationships that is just incredibly attractive. When it comes right down to it, it all boils down to this one simple truth. Before you can build deep, meaningful connections with anyone else in the world, there is one person, just one, that you absolutely have to learn to be comfortable with first. And you know who that is. It's you. So you see, the power isn't in avoiding being alone. It's in turning that time into your own personal training ground. The secret is out. So the only real question left is, when are you going to start your training?